This is a very serious video. I wasn't aware of this story. This happened December the 8th, but I'm gonna give my take on it. On Saturday that just passed, December the 8th, a man negligently shot his 7-year-old son to death outside of a Pennsylvania gun store. I'll link the story at the bottom. He was trying to sell a rifle and sell a handgun. He had a Taurus 9mm. I think it was a 1911. No, I'm not sure if it was a 1911. I think it was I don't know what model. I'm assuming it was a PT-92. Probably was. He was getting in his car and the gun went off, shot his son in the chest, killed him immediately. The little boy name was Craig Allen Lowry. Rest in peace, little soldier. Did not deserve that one bit. Now, what I want to talk about is, I'm not going to get up here and preach to nobody about gun safety. We all should know gun safety, but like I was watching a few videos, like from Lock and Load channel. I was watching the video he made on it, and he said, people, we can know all about guns as much as we want, but we seem to get complacent when it comes to gun safety, and we get complacent around firearms as if we know that we're in our comfort zone too much, that we know nothing could go wrong or things can't happen. And I don't call things like that accidental discharges. Now, accidental discharges when you don't have your finger on the trigger and the gun malfunctions and there's one in the chamber and it goes off. And that's rare. That's rare. I mean, and I brought out these guns for a reason. And to the left there, you have the Jimenez, and those guns have had a lot of issues in the past as far as litigation issues. You had people wanting to sue these little small Saturday night special Ring of Fire companies due to the fact that they're blaming the gun for the person's negligence. They supposed to have locked away their gun, but they want to turn around and blame the firearm company, and I think that's wrong and sad. You shouldn't even have to go to court for that. It shouldn't even be any court battle. When you get a gun, you have all of the stuff, you have all of the warning labels, but it's up to the person, the parent. So the little boy got paralyzed with a Jennings 380, and they decided they wanted to sue the firearm company because the gun wasn't safe enough. I mean, that's just ridiculous, and this is the America that we're living in now. That we're blaming everybody but ourselves for what happened. It's just like if this shit happens and this family decides to sue Taurus because what happened to his son, and that's wrong. It's wrong. But it happens. It does happen, and I don't agree with it. Now, if it's something wrong with the firearm and it's a defect, why do you think they recall their guns? Because they know if something bad happens that they're going to get sued, and rightfully so at that point. But if there's nothing mechanically wrong with the gun, you can't blame the firearm company for that, man. You're supposed to lock your weapons away. That person should be in jail for paralyzing his or her son. Just the way I feel about it. Period. Now basically, you got a gun in the middle here that has a lot of safety features on it, and you have a gun here that's a revolver that basically has no. This is a pre Locksmith & Wesson revolver here. The videos I've been watching, they're already comparing this tragedy to the Jovan Belcher. Now, how in the world can you compare these two stories? First of all, the Jovan Belcher story, the guy went nuts. He was just evil, killed his girlfriend, took his own self out. This story, allegedly the guy got in his truck, gun went off. Finger was on the trigger, which is where it shouldn't have been. I even seen a video already. You got people talking about what if they do handguns just go off by themselves, should Taurus be to blame for it? I said I couldn't believe what I was reading. I couldn't believe it. and they're so quick to get the brand of the gun out there, like that really matters. Oh, it was a Taurus 9mm. You know, every time something happens with guns, like a shooting, a bad shooting mostly. Oh, it was a high point C9 or a high point carbine, or it was a Glock 19 that killed all of the Virginia Tech or the Walther P22. I mean, who cares what gun it was? That's just, to me, that's like a way for them to try to sue the manufacturers in a sense. But gladly though, the shooting with the old guy when they came into that internet cafe and tried to rob it, one guy had a gun, one guy had a bat, and the old guy just pulled out his little gun and started shooting to get them out of there. At least we know what gun that was. It was a Taurus TCP that the old guy had. He had a Taurus 380 TCP. Good for him. So I like when positive stories give the gun manufacturers some shine. That's a good thing. But it's sad because this guy here might get brought up on charges. Should he? I believe, yeah. Sorry to say, many might not agree. But if you know your finger is not supposed to be on the trigger, period. I don't care. Bottom line, point blank. He said he checked the gun when he was home and didn't know it was one round in the chamber. Now, right there, that shows he shouldn't be able to own a gun. When you do stupidness like that, he could have brought that gun home and he could have killed his wife. Anybody else could have got killed, his dog, anybody, because he didn't know one. He could have even killed himself by not knowing one was still in the chamber. I don't understand that. How do you clear a magazine out of a gun, but then you don't check the chamber as if you're and it's funny because this guy was a hunter. He knew about firearms. I guess that's what the whole point is. Just because you're competent in firearms don't mean things like this can't happen. They won't happen if you're extra careful. If you're extra careful, these things can't happen if you're extra careful. The only way a gun can go off any other way is if, like I said earlier, there's a malfunction with the gun. That's not your fault. You know what I mean? Which is a rare thing. These firearm companies go to great lengths to try to make sure that these things don't happen, that's where their guns fail. You know, there was a few recalls, Ruger LCP. A couple other guns had issues, and they recalled them and took care of it. Because they know they will get bankrupt and go out of business if people start dying left and right because their guns are malfunctioning. You know, and a lot of people don't like a lot of safeties on their guns, but you know something? I never was really one to care about that. I mean, because some people, I think it's good to have safeties on some guns because some people just don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know, you take, for instance, sorry about that. You know, for instance, you take this gun, the 22. Now, back then they was told to have some issues, and I'm not saying real serious issues, but I've heard stories where these guns dropped and they fired, but that wasn't the case when the kid pulled the trigger and shot himself. That was the parent or the guardian being negligent and not locking up their firearm. That's a totally different situation. Now, these guns have a safety feature. You know, I guess it's a safety feature. When you cock it, the little red thing pops up in the back here. That's a feature to let people know, hey man, don't point it at anybody. The gun is ready to go. Rather it'll pop out whether it's one in the chamber or not. That's good because it lets you know whether it's one in the chamber or not. You know that it's potentially they couldn't be around in the chamber. So that's letting you know to check your chamber to make sure there's nothing in there, and don't aim it towards anybody. Always aiming at the ground. When I'm in a gun store, when I'm looking at new guns, it's a habit. It's a forceful habit. He'll give me the gun. He'll clear it, lock the slide open. I'll take it, and automatically I'll dip it to the floor. And my finger is always like this, always. And one time the guy at the gun store said, man, you know what? You show good discipline, because there's people that came in here, had their hands like this, aiming into my gut. You know, it was a few times when my wife started getting into guns, I had to tell her. She did that when we were trying out some guns for her. She aimed it at the guy, and I grabbed her hand and said, no, don't you ever do that. And you know, I keep pounding that. I was drilling it in her head. And one day, when we went to the gun range, she automatically, it started. She knew off the rip not to do that. And she always had the gun pointed here. Put it down when she was done. Check, make sure everything was clear, and put it back down. Now that's the safety feature that's supposed to be on this gun. It's like I wouldn't call it a safety feature. It's like a warning feature, let you know that there can be something in there, and that's good because some people need that. Some people don't like that stuff, but you know what? You might be okay with checking your guns and everything, but what if someone's new to guns and then they don't know? You know, it's good. That thing is a good indicator for them. That's how I feel now. You take this. This is an XD, and this gun is loaded. There's not one in the chamber. There's not one in the chamber. There's just some in the magazine. Now, see what I just said? There's not one in the chamber. I assume that there's not one in the chamber because the cocking indicator is not present. There's nothing raised up on the slide here. The little there's another chamber indicator right here, right there, as you can see that piece. Now I'm assuming, oh, there's nothing in the chamber. There's just round in the magazine. Now, what if that part failed, and what if that part decided not to shoot up when there was one in the chamber, and then I just said bang and put my finger on the trigger and pulled it, and it accidental. That's not an accidental discharge. It's a negligent discharge. Okay, now suppose I did that. That's why I know about guns, but there's always a room for error. So when I say I'm not going to check my guns online for you guys, that's just me saying that because these safety salaries be getting on my nerves. But there's nothing there. I only have one hand. That's why I keep my finger off the trigger. I can't work with two hands right now. I know for a fact that there's nothing in there, but what if I thought wrong? That's what I'm trying to explain here. I could be wrong. It can fail. You know, they fail. Guns can fail. This part can fail. The loaded chamber indicator can fail. The cocked firing pin indicator can fail. This grip safety can fail, and to be honest with you, when I first bought this, when I looked at this gun, I didn't like it, man, because of this. And some people will knock guns with a lot of safeties, but you know something? Now that I see it, it doesn't matter, man. You when it's a dangerous situation, train yourself. If you have to get a gun like that, train yourself to sweep the safety down. I think the safeties really make a good. The safeties are really a good thing to have, and it's personal preference. But as you can see, the gun he had was a Taurus, and it had a safety on it. What happened? He didn't put it to use. So my whole point is, you can have all the safety features you want, though. It all really boils down to you messing up, okay? And I just think, yeah, the safety thing is a preference. But if I think it's good to have them up there, you know what I mean? Let's just say, God forbid, some guns you could drop the magazine out and it won't fire. Some, it doesn't have magazine disconnect, some do. Like a Glock doesn't or something like that. Some guns do, some guns don't. Some think of it as, oh, I want to have that feature. I don't want that feature because if I'm in a dangerous situation, my mag falls out and I have one in the chamber, I still want to be able to fire it. See, when it comes to, it's a real wishy-washy thing, because when it comes to that, that's understandable. But when it comes to your kid finding a gun, which they never should, but like I said, people are negligent sometimes, and just that split second you leave your gun on the bed, your son runs in when you don't hear him. You forget your gun is on the bed when you're in the shower, and your gun is on the bed, and your son runs up from the kitchen and comes in, and your gun is there, and you took the magazine out the gun, but you didn't clear the round in there. And remember, your gun doesn't have mag disconnect. You see what I mean? And God forbid your son plays with the gun, and boom, you come out of the shower. You got a tragedy waiting for you. You know, that's what I'm saying, basically. You know, I really don't know, man. I mean, that's a sad thing. He got to live with that for the rest of his life. I don't know if I can be able to handle that. If that happened to me, God forbid, I don't know if I could live with myself. You know, I don't know if I could live with myself over something like that. And it's really sad. It really is. You know, my prayers just go out to that family. To the guy, I know it was negligence on your part, man. But just stay strong, and you know, people out there, please, you know what I mean, please, please, please. When my kids are around these guns, I try to make sure as much as possible that they're not loaded. If they're loaded when they're with me, it's in my holster and I'm outside somewhere. I don't even like them being around them, period. When I get home, I unload it immediately. Now, if I got a gun I've used for home defense, I'll definitely leave it in the safe. There's no need for me to take it out unless I'm going to a gun range with it or something to play with it a little bit. But these things are not toys, man. I mean, you can't take nothing light when it comes to firearms. You have to be extra careful. And it's not even just firearms. BB guns can kill you. You know, bow arrows. You know, things like anything that shoots a projectile, you have to be careful. Shit, even blank firing guns can still kill you. It happened a few times. So I just, you know, there's nothing else really left to say, but I just want to tell everybody in the gun community, man, just please be careful. You know, and they're gonna attack this story. I already seen the videos where people say I hate people with guns, and I hate guns, and I hate people that think they should have guns even more. What kind of idiotic statement is that? So I immediately said, well, so I guess you hate cops in the military then too, right? I said, well, the funny thing, ironic thing about that is you hate guns, but yeah, that means you must not own guns. So if something bad is happening in your house, you're quick to call a cop because he has a gun to come save you. You know, they can't answer that. There's nothing they can say that can counter that. Nothing. I love guns, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you out there do. I love them. I love every part of them, but let's not forget, we have to respect them. Let's not forget that these can kill. They can kill you if you're negligent with them. They're dangerous when you're negligent with them. And the whole thing about guns guns don't kill people, people kill people. Absolutely true. Absolutely. Someone said all this you're gonna hear 1,000,001 lines. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. Well, let me correct that statement for you. Guns don't kill people, people do kill people. But the thing is, the killer uses the gun to kill people. So there you go. I think I pretty much said it straight for you. The killer uses the gun to kill. Okay? So you want to demonize the gun? Fuck you. That's all I got to say about it. This is Gun Lovers TV. Stay tuned for more guns to come. Stay safe out there with your guns, people. They like stuff like this to happen to make us look bad. Later.